When we talk about politics, we often use words of war, speaking of battles or fights to get things done. And now a group called the Builders Movement is taking a different approach. The goal is to bring people from different backgrounds and political beliefs together. It's now bringing that mission here to Texas with what its leaders call Citizen Solutions Sessions. Will DuPree spoke with the executive director of Builders to learn more about their approach to build real policy solutions.
Here to tell us more about that work is Stacey Blakely. She is the executive director of the Builders Movement. Stacey, welcome, and thank you so much for joining us today. We appreciate it.
Well, we're grateful to be here.
Okay, let's start with, what is it about our current political climate that makes you think this mission will work now?
I think we're seeing the tides turning. There's always a pendulum in politics. We see it. You go far left, far right. I think what you have now is a majority of Americans, and there's plenty of studies to back this up, they're exhausted by all of it. They're tired of the chaos. They want solutions, and the demonizing of the others, the us versus them, there's real fatigue around that. And you can see it in polling, you can see it in the fact that universities all over the country are suddenly introducing programs so that there is civic dialogue, that students have to actually talk to one another even if they have differences. And so I'd say Builders was slightly ahead of the curve because we realized that us versus them really meant that you weren't going to get to any sort of meaningful solutions. But I think you can sense there is a reluctance amongst the population to just accept that battle cry that you have heard from hyper-partisan theater, which
That
is
is
a lot of
the
it.
status quo that we have right now. So how does success look for Builders now that it is coming here to Texas?
Well, it's a process for us here. Like anything, when you're engaging in change, there are several steps that we're going to take. And so the first is a citizen solutions that you mentioned. That's a really important process that we can talk about a little bit more in depth. But just giving citizens a voice in policy making, identifying what is it that they care about, and how do they think that we should solve these problems. Builders is not a think tank. We're not going to prescribe these are the solutions that you need to follow. Instead, we really want this to be a grassroots, bottoms-up approach. So in addition to the citizen solutions, we also have a digital AI conversation tool so that Texans all over the country can give input. So success at the end is we have citizens from all over the great state standing at Governor Abbott's desk, let's say May or June of 27, and we're signing into law legislation that they came up and advocated for.
So you mentioned those citizen solutions sessions. You had some just this past weekend. So what did you hear from Texans exactly at that time?
What I thought was really encouraging is that we had a really wide variety of people in the room. We had a 19-year-old self-described liberal. We had a 71-year-old East Texas Republican. And, you know, we had folks from Alpine to Austin and Lufkin to Lubbock, and many came in quite skeptical. And they thought, one of the women there said, I didn't think that I could actually have a constructive conversation with someone on the other side. And so as they got to know each other and build trust, which is part of the exercise, what they started to share were their own healthcare stories, because that's an issue that touches everyone's lives. That's why we're focusing on it. And then what you saw is a mix of pragmatic ideas, hopeful ideas. We had practitioners in the room, insurance folks. We had just all your kinds of citizens that are going to be sharing their different experiences, but all of that combined was sort of democracy in action right there in front of us, you know, at a conference table here in Austin.
Well, good luck with this next step.
Thank you.
Stacey Blakely with the Builders Movement. Thanks again for talking to us.
It's my pleasure.
You can see more of our interview online now. Plus, we have links to information about Builders and their push for bipartisan policy solutions. You can find it now on our website in this week's State of Texas story. Critical moments captured in hundreds of 911 calls now released to our team. How they're giving us a look into the 4th of July floods as they were happening.